two have talked a lot about the competition within the room and how much it's helped them. Have you noticed that out on the practice field?
Absolutely. You know, we say in our organization, competition is king. As far as how I'm concerned about the position, I make sure I let them know every single year, I'm trying to go get somebody to replace you. I'm trying to get somebody who's better than you I see in high school. And the opportunity to play this game of football is very minimal. So they understand that when you're on the football field, you have to make the most of your chances. That's how you get on the football field. That's how you stay on the football field. They have to make it difficult for me not to play them. It's not my job to give them the opportunity to play on the football field. They got to earn it. And so them understanding my approach to the game, Rod, I think, and understanding how they have to make sure the little minimal plays or the plays that you do get to make the most of them, the guys are taking in consideration of being maximizing the opportunities, working their tail off in all aspects of the game, on and off the football field. And it has shown, you know what I mean? And the details coming in the means, everything is competition. So it's working hand in hand for us.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Tashard, in terms of this, seems like you very much take kind of a pro approach, being a guy that played in the league and stuff, and then you were in a similar situation early in your college career too. Kind of do you lean on those experiences, kind of explain to these young men like what this is like when you're competing every day for your job and it's not a given?
Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's very important for them to understand, like in college, I had the opportunity to play with some really good running backs, you know what I mean? And coming from here, where we had PJ Daniels, me, and Jonathan Dwyer, and then going into the NFL where you got guys that play and practice their tail off, you understood how important it is to make sure that every time you step on the football field, either special teams or at the running back position, you maximize your reps. And so I try to get them guys that experience, because you can't just say you're a running back. You got to be able to do a lot of different things. You got to be able to catch, you got to be able to run, you got to be able to block, but also you got to be on special teams. You got to do whatever you can do to help the organization. And telling the guys that and emphasizing it, having guys from the NFL talk to my guys and tell them that themselves. It's good for them to hear, because they're going to be in it. And when you watch Pro Day, when you watch these boys out here working hard to get into the NFL, they plan for opportunity against grown men who's alpha dogs to get in there to have opportunity to play the game. And so them understanding that now will help them later on when they have the opportunity.
Next question from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Tashard, when you mentioned having NFL guys talk to them, is that like players or coaches, scouts? And how do you do that?
Little bit of both. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of both. You have guys, scouts. You have scouts that when they was out here, they let them know, hey, look, you better make sure you're on special teams. Everybody coming to the NFL is not going to be the number one running back. You're going to have to learn to do different things. I have guys from the NFL. If I talk to Ezekiel Elliott, if I talk to Jeff Wilson, who I had at the University of North Texas, who's at the 49ers right now, they emphasize that. Jalen Richard, you got Josh Jacobs, guys that we can reach out to tell them, hey, listen, if you're doing your job, you better make sure you do it at a high clip. And you better make sure if you're on special teams, you give it every single rep, because it's dependent on your job. See, it's different. Guys don't understand when you're in the NFL, it's scouts that look at practice every single day to try to find reasons not to give you money, to try to find reasons to cut you. So as a coach, it's my job to give them reasons not to try to bridge that gap so they can stay on the football field. And so I really try to emphasize that to them, to teach them the knowledge, to learn that on their own. And ultimately, I hope they get it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things as a coach that I learned as a player, but more importantly, I try to teach them guys so they don't make the same mistakes I did or other guys did, you know what I mean, in the past.
Would you have them like patch them in like on a Zoom call in a meeting, or how would you arrange like that?
Yeah, so like, you know, especially during the pandemic, you know, we couldn't have a chance to be around the guys, and a lot of people was at home, so it was easier to get in touch with guys because they're not out there training, they weren't doing certain things. So having a chance to call the guys, get them on the Zoom call to talk to them, and then once the guys see them, and then the guys see them playing the fall, you know what I mean? It just give them more credibility when they see guys out there rolling, and they're like, man, this guy here talked to me. This guy said these words. So it's hopefully it mean a little more to them.
Got another one from Rod McKenzie.
Hey, Tashard, when you first got here, Dante was maybe one of the forgotten guys in the running back room. What has he done since then to get to where he is now?
You know, it's funny what Dante and who he has become as a person, who he's become as a football player. He always stayed late. He's one of the players that always call my phone. Hey, coach, can you tell me how I get better? hey, coach, can you tell me where I'm at in the program? And me, ultimately, I'm always honest with my guys. And I think they respect that, because anytime you're not honest, that's when you can lose guys. Guys not going to go out there and play they butt off for you. So Dante has got bigger, stronger, faster in the weight room. He has his attention to detail on his pass protections, because he can run the football. When he has the football in his hand, he's very explosive. I think he was the most explosive running back we had last year as far as yards per carry. His ability to learn, his ability to keep growing, that's what it's going to take. And he plays very fast on the football field. So when you have somebody who has the ability and want to get themselves better, not me telling them to, but his own self doing it himself, it's something big about that. It's something I respect as a coach and as a former player, to say, hey, when you got somebody working their tail off to do the right thing on and off the football field, and then he put it all together, and then he get an opportunity to play, and then he make the most of his reps. Shoot, he got to play. I got to make time for him. I got to get him in the game. So every day I see the kid, like just a few seconds ago, Rod, I think he was the last person off the football field, the last running back. It's just who he is sometimes. He going to work. He going to outwork people. So that's what Dante is. It's a testament to his character and who he's become as a football player.
Next question from Kelly Quinlan.
I guess, Tashard, you have some guys who haven't played much, like Devin and Bruce and Tony. Kind of how do you keep those guys motivated? Because at that position, you could get into a situation where those guys have to play regardless, kind of just through injuries or whatever. So how do you keep those guys motivated when there's four kind of stud guys really kind of leading the pack?
You know, you emphasize to the guys that absolutely where they at, and then more importantly, understanding that they define their own roles. If you want to get into the pack, you have to do more and beyond. You got to go take it from them. You know what I mean? And so when I talk to Devin, you know what I mean? He's been down from injury, and Devin Ellison name around Georgia Tech and our whole organization is of high standard. He has made his dad very proud. It had me a little emotional today, because he was a little down because he's been injured, and seeing how hard he worked and seeing his teammates rally around him being injured. Somebody who just loved the opportunity to get on the football field, that means something to me. And then you got Bruce Jordan. He get his tail ready to go. He about to graduate in 3 weeks. It's unbelievable. I can't tell you. I know I'm going to cheer more he graduating than him scoring a touchdown in the game, because he's bettered himself. And so those guys understand sometimes your process, your character drives your process, and the process drives the results. But we understand our character and who we are. And so when I talk to them and I tell them where they at, they work their tail off in the process. And if the results is not what you want, you just got to continue that cycle on and keep working your tail off. And so all those guys, Tony, they understand where they at. They understand where they want to be. But they also understand the competition, because everybody can't play the game. Everybody's not going to get on the football field. This is not a charity event. This is the best of the best. Cream rises to the top. And that's the way it is. And if I don't tell them that, then they'll go out here and think the real world is that way. It's not that way. You know what I mean? Everybody on this call, I know y'all worked y'all tail off to be here. And that's why I salute you for who you are and where you've been. That's the same way I treat those guys. You got to work your tail off to be the best of the best. And that's the way I try to treat them, because even if it's on the football field, in the classroom, or when you become a husband, when you become a father, you're going to have to always be relentless. You're going to have to keep driving the process, and you're going to have to keep doing things over and over again until you get it right. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to teach them over and over again, fellas.
And we have time for a couple more for Coach Choice. We'll take another one from Ken.
Tashard, Dante was saying how a lot of the gains he made over the offseason and the winter were driven by just kind of what you're mentioning, that desire to get better and get on the field. And I'm curious, what are some other ways that you see, whether it's in practice or in meetings or whatever, that's telling you, okay, you know, this is happening because these guys really want to get on the field?
Absolutely. When they ask questions, and it's really good questions, when they call, when they doing extra, when nobody's watching, you know what I mean? Like, you can hear from other players, and then you can see them in the off season, how they carry themselves. When they're running and they doing condition, are they in the front? You know what I mean? Are they in the back? When they lifting weights, are there somebody who is the lifter of the day, lifter of the week, somebody who's always doing extra in the classroom when we get the academic report and they got all A's and A's and B's, like Jameer Gibbs. How talented Jameer Gibbs is. This some gun got all A's, and he's got a C. I'm trying to get him to get all A's. Now, I tell you this, for a guy of his character to push himself, like Dante, all of them. When you hear the stories about who they are besides playing a game of football, it makes me like them even more, because I tell you, I can't stand to be around them jokers. I tell them that all the time. I don't like them at all. I want them I'm not their friend. I'm your coach. I'm your mentor, but I want you to work your tail off. So at the end of the day, it's just straight respect between me and whoever I'm talking to, with JP, all the guys, man. I just love to see them work, to do the little things when I'm not around, and to work themselves and teach each other. That's the biggest thing I think, Ken, is like when they teach each other what to do, and I don't even have to say anything. If somebody's not finishing, the players say something about it. If they not in on time, they talk to each other about it. I don't have to teach the little things about the culture and how to be great. Them guys are doing it on their own now. So it's sort of, you know what I mean, gratifying for me to be in this position that I am now going into year 3.
Okay, that's the last question that we have in queue for Coach Choice. Coach Choice, thank you. And thanks to everybody who's on the call today.
Kelly, Rod,
And,
Ken, thank you.
Thank you, Tashard.